I appreciate it.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh no. Okay, are we live?
Yep, we're live.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to Alabama Care. We have a very special broadcast today. We're here with Alex, as you all know. He's our sort of our leader, founder, whatever you call it, and a very big deal. We have Dr. Sisson here, the um, the director of the Governor's Office on Disability. Is that proper title?
That's
Awesome.
perfect, McCartney.
Awesome. That's so exciting. Hold on, let me just mute my computer here
Yep.
and we can get started.
We're happy to be here. Thank you for bringing notice to this topic. It's something that I was unfamiliar with until you approached me about it. So I think it's a message that needs to get out, and I'm very proud of you for bringing it to the front.
Thank you. Okay. So I think I'm just going to give a brief introduction. This is probably the second Disability Day of Mourning ever held in Alabama, and that's because I was the first one last year, and we had a total of like 4 participants, but we tried. So essentially, this event is to raise awareness for disabled people and our experiences with the justice system. You might have heard of this case before. A man named Robert Latimer, excuse me, he decided that his daughter, Tracy, who was physically disabled and intellectually disabled, was suffering more than it was worth, and he murdered her. And as Tracy, she had no way to communicate at the time how she felt. But people around her, I read that she loved horses, she loved the circus, and disability advocates say her father had no right to take her life. She was just a little girl, and and yet many media outlets, many non-disabled organizations have taken his side, the father's side, and said that he did a good thing for his daughter. Now, as a disabled woman myself, I'm a full-time wheelchair user, powered wheelchair. I've been hospitalized many times. I do have chronic pain. I miss a lot of school, but I know that I would never, my life is not worse than death. I have friends. I have a wonderful career here with Alabama Care. I'm here with the highest authority on disability in the state. You know, we can achieve amazing things just as we are, and we can be proud and have wonderful lives. And the fact that anyone believes otherwise is dangerous. And unfortunately, these cases of filicide, where a parent or a caregiver will kill their disabled family member, it happens very often. The statistics are not pretty, and unfortunately, because there's this argument that I don't consider valid, that our lives aren't worth living anyway, that this happens quite often, and often people aren't punished for it. And I've said that there are lots of disabled people incarcerated, and I wonder about the prisons and stuff, but at the same time, we deserve equal protection under the law. I would never want to die. I love my life and I love all of my disabled friends. So this is really important to remember everyone we've lost and make sure that maybe next year we don't have to do this again. If we can get journalists, if we can get the world at large to recognize how important we all are, then meetings like this, where we have to mourn people we've lost and we have to fight for people to recognize how much we can achieve, won't be necessary. So thank you, everyone watching, and thank you, Alex and Dr. Sisson, for being here. I know this broadcast is going to be very emotionally charged, and we will have resources for that at the end. But if you feel the need to take a break and move back from this at any time, viewers, please take all the time you need. This is a very hard and upsetting topic, but it's important that we educate others. So thank you.
I have a question, if you don't mind, McCartney, with the young lady that passed away in Canada. how did that happen? What was the incident that she passed away from?
She lived in sort of like a residential facility. I don't know what they call it there, sort of like a group home. And she was visiting her parents for the weekend, and her father put her in a car with the exhaust going into it. So it was carbon monoxide poisoning.
Wow. And so not get he got acquitted.
Yes. This there's a resource that I used to research for this broadcast, and when I originally decided to do one of these last year, I wanted to know all the facts behind it, and they record worldwide all of the cases where this happens, and this happened in Alabama as well,
And you
not too
mentioned
long ago.
incarceration there, Dr. Susan. You may know more than I do, but I have heard that there's a high percentage of especially invisible disabilities incarcerated. And I know ADAP has done significant work in that realm. Mr. James Tucker, I know that's something that they've worked on in the past.
Absolutely. So, when do we want to make some opening comments? Would this be the appropriate time, McCartney?
Absolutely.
Sure. Again, my name's Graham Sisson, and I'm a white male. I'm a full-time wheelchair user too. I use a manual chair, and today I have brown hair and blue-green eyes, and I'm wearing a white shirt with a red tie, and I've got a houndstooth jacket which has a little houndstooth black symbol and the jacket on it. I like the University of Alabama. I like Albany University, so I'm kind of an unusual in Alabama, but certainly the lives of people with disabilities matter. I mean, I've lived 40 years with my disability. I was injured by a drunk driver in 1982, and I've noticed that, it is hard living with a disability, but I'd rather still be alive, even though it's inconvenient, it's harder getting around, and sometimes people don't understand that much disability, but I've always liked every day I'm above, I'm on the top side of the dirt instead of underneath the dirt, as the saying goes. So, and there just needs to be more awareness. Even though somebody's having struggle, it's up to that individual. That individual makes the choice about their life. And I believe very strongly in self-determination, and that people with disabilities can contribute to society. They have a lot to offer. They have talents and abilities, and every individual person is worth something, including the people with disabilities. And we can't overemphasize that point. So I thank you very much, McCartney, for inviting me today to share my thoughts and to bring greater awareness to the lives of people with significant disabilities. And because we're wheelchair users, people see our disabilities, but many disabilities are hidden, invisible disabilities, and people are struggling. So this is to reach out to those folks too, to advocate for better awareness on their behalf too. So that's all I'll say. I'm a lawyer also, but we lawyers are mostly succinct because we have to be. We're trained to be. So get to the point. But today is a very important topic, and I'm glad to be involved. Thank you so much for this opportunity, McCartney.
It's really my honor to have you here. Um, the status you've achieved and what you've done for our state, it's really, I'm kind of a fangirl, honestly. I want to know everything about disability policy and the fact that we have people with like you who have achieved so much, and I'm sure losing your status as a physically abled person was hard, and yet the fact that you can sit here and say I have achieved this, I love my life, and every day that I live it is precious to me. This really brings together the fact that you know everyone can come back from having a disability. You can still, no matter what happens, you can contribute and you can be happy. And you made a really great point about people with invisible disabilities. I have one, and it is very hard. I think I get it easier because I have a physical one as well. But it's mine was life-threatening as a child, and I went through a lot with that. And it's part of the reason I miss so much school. I'm very ill a lot of times, but I would never not want to be here because of it. And to be honest, meeting other disabled people has contributed so much to my life. I don't know who I would be or where I would be without this part of me. And before I go any further, you thank you for providing an image description. I need to do that as well before we get too far into the topic. My name's McCartney Hagar. I am a white woman. I have brown hair that is styled in sort of a grown out bob, shoulder length. I have short bangs. I'm wearing a black dress with a white embroidered Peter Pan collar. And there's a microphone on my screen that's glowing red. So thank you so much for being here. And Alex, if you'd like to say a few words.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. My name is Alex. I am kind of a manager at Alabama Care. I'm very happy to be here. This topic is not something that I was familiar with ahead of time. I am a white male. I have short hair, balding, to say the least. But I am wearing a dark blue sweater. I am able-bodied, and I'm microphone on screen. I'm sitting in my home office.
Thank you. If everyone is ready, we can transition to our readings. We have chosen articles suggested by the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, a disability-run organization that advocates for self-determination, and they really take the lead with the Day of Mourning. So they have provided all of the resources today. So a huge thank you to them and everyone who works for them. This would not be possible without you, and they've done a lot they provide trainings for this. So I wouldn't have been able to coordinate this event without them. So if Clifton or you're able to pull up our readings.
I think
Thank you.
I'll
Who wants to?
pull it up on the screen because I think y'all are going to try to do that, and then I could be glad to do it.
Yes, sir. Can you see the screen as it is now?
I
Yes,
can.
where it says murder, not mercy. Is that the one you wanted me to read?
I think McCartney is going to be reading this one.
Yes, we need
Okay.
You Get Proud by Practicing. There we go. So this is your
Okay.
reading.
Sure. All right, I'll be glad to read this poem. It's You Get Proud by Practicing by Laura Hershey. It goes as follows. If you're not proud for who you are, for what you say, for how you look, if every time you stop to think yourself, you do not see yourself glowing with golden light, do not therefore give up on yourself. You can get proud. You do not need a better body, a pure spirit, or a PhD to be proud. You do not need a lot of money, a handsome boyfriend, or a nice car. You do not need to be able to walk, to see, or hear, or use big, complicated words, or do any of those things that you just can't do to be proud. A caseworker cannot make you proud, or a doctor. You only need more practice. You get proud by practicing. There are many, many ways to get around. You can try riding a horse, or skiing on one leg, or playing guitar, and do well or not so well, and be glad you tried either way. You can show something you've made to someone you respect, and be happy with it no matter what they say. You can say what you think, though you know other people do not think the same way. And you can keep saying it, even if they tell you you're crazy. You can add your voice all night to the voices of 150 others in a circle around a jailhouse, where your brothers and sisters are being held for blocking buses with no lifts. Or you can be one of the ones inside the jailhouse knowing of the circle outside. You can speak your love to a friend without fear. You can find someone who will listen to you without judging you or doubting you or being afraid of you, and let you hear yourself perhaps for the very first time. These are all ways of getting around. None of them are easy, but all of them are possible. You can do all these things, or just one of them again and again. You get proud by practicing. Power makes you proud, and power comes in many fine forms, supple and rich as butterfly wings. It is music when you practice opening your mouth and liking what you hear, because it is sound of your own true voice. It is sunlight when you practice seeing strength and beauty in everyone, including yourself. It is a dance when you practice knowing that what you do and the way you do it is the right way for you and cannot be called wrong. All these hold more power than weapons or money or lies. All these practices bring power, and power makes you proud. You get proud by practicing. Remember, you weren't the one who made you ashamed, but you are the one who can make you proud. Just practice, practice until you get proud. And once you are proud, keep practicing so you won't forget. You get proud by practicing.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. You did much better reciting it than I would have. That was so perfect. Um, I think we planned for my reading to go next. First, would anyone like to say anything about the reading?
I'd like to
Uh,
acknowledge Matthew Peterson says, hey, and Debbie Johnson says, add your voice with a heart emoji next to it. I also like to add, I really like a couple components in that poem, and the aspect of practice and doing, kind of getting out of, putting your foot forward and making that step. And from that, you'll gain confidence. And I think that's a really big thing. Sometimes we have limiting beliefs on ourselves, where we get nervous or we say we're not going to do that, or it has to be perfect before anyone can see it. But just practicing by putting yourself out there and making that step will gain your confidence and make you proud. So I love that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree. And a lot of the aspects of it, like a social worker can't make you proud or a doctor can't make you proud, that this kind of thing, being happy with yourself as you are, it has to come from within. The answer isn't always to fix yourself, like have others fix you, but to learn that what you have, like disability wise, what your abilities are, to be happy with them and to learn how to love them. So that's a perfect poem. I guess I'll
I
go
think,
next. And
Oh, go ahead,
oh,
Dr.
excuse me.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that also what the poem means to me is that, and I've always said to people, just do it. Like the Nike commercial, just do it. And once you do it, it gives you confidence. And there's something else called success brings about more success. So if you try it once and you do it and you keep doing it, you get more confidence, more confident, and you become more successful. So, and you got to start somewhere. That's the other thing. You got to give yourself a break. Sometimes we're our own worst critics. And so we need to get out there and as people with disabilities and just take some risk, allow ourselves to make mistakes. You learn a lot from making mistakes. It's very painful when you do, but it makes you a better, stronger person. So I have lots of cliches in my mind, but not all cliches are bad. And one of those is, that which makes you, that which does not kill you makes you stronger. And that also reminds me of this poem is that you keep trying, you don't give up. and you give yourself a break. So I really enjoyed reading the poem. I thought it says a lot, and it's very meaningful to me.
I think you're absolutely right. A lot of times, I think there's this assumption with disability that we can't try, we can't take a risk. And that's the biggest thing that's allowed me to go to college and make friends and have sort of the independence I have now is putting myself out there and saying, well, I've never done this before. I don't know how it's going to go, but I have to try. Otherwise, I'm never going to get to where I want to be in life. So I think you make a great point, and thank you for saying that.
But
Um, Sorry, I'm a little awkward, emotional. It's, you know, not my usual broadcast. So if I'm off today, you'll have to excuse me. Um,
sound fine to me. You're doing great, McCartney.
Thank you. So I guess we will go to my reading now and just going to put a little warning here. This will be talking rather plainly about this issue and talking about how it feels to be a person with a disability when you hear people arguing in favor of people like Robert Latimer. So this is, again, not a fun or uplifting story, but it is essentially encapsulating how I feel on this day. So this is Murder, Not Mercy by Kara Liebowitz, and it goes as follows. They're trying to kill us. More specifically, they're trying to kill me. Please spare me your platitudes about how you're not trying to kill me. Of course not. You're one of the lucky ones, you tell me. We only want to put the severely disabled out of their misery. Implicit in this argument is the assumption that I couldn't possibly be severely disabled because I have a voice. I'm actively arguing against you. But you don't know me. You don't know a thing about me. I could be a full-time power chair user. I could be fed through a G-tube. I could be using a communication device. And the truth is, I'm none of those things. But I could be. And even if I was, I would still be happy. And I certainly wouldn't want to be dead. You say you want to end the lives of those who are suffering. Well, if that's true, then you want to kill me. Am I suffering? Absolutely. Not from my CP, but from the pain that plagues me every day. The pain could go away tomorrow and I wouldn't miss it, but I'd still rather be in pain than dead. And I'd like to make that choice myself, thank you very much. You say you'd rather die than be like us, like me. And that's sad, because you have no idea what our lives are really like. But that's your choice. Those people you killed, directly or indirectly, they didn't have a choice. Tracy didn't have a choice. George didn't have a choice. And that's what you really want, isn't it? That's your definition of severely disabled. Incapable of expressing their choice the usual way, the right way, the normal way. So you pretend to be a noble hero and make that choice for them. I can speak. I can say stop when someone is trying to hurt me. But after I'm dead, will you pretend I couldn't? Will you exploit the hardships of my life in order to perpetuate the idea that bodies like ours are broken? Will you even acknowledge that I was happy? And yes, even proud, just the way I was. You call it mercy, I call it murder. On Friday night, I stood in a dimly lit park, surrounded by my friends, my brothers, my sisters in the fight against ableism. I held a candle to the sky in memory of all of my disabled brethren who were cruelly snatched, against their will, from this world. Not because of the natural path of illness or injury, not even because of a tragic accident. No, these people were not with us because someone willfully, purposely decided that their lives were not worth living. Someone actively decided to kill them, all in the name of mercy and a twisted sense of moral obligation. If their lives were not cut short, who knows? They might have been at that vigil with us, joining hands and hearts, building a sense of community among disabled people of extraordinarily diverse backgrounds. But we have no way of knowing, because someone decided they didn't deserve to live. As a group, we must rise up. As a group, we must protest in any way, shape, or form that we can. We cannot let these murders go unnoticed. The time has passed to be nice, polite, and grateful for the scraps of humanity that society throws in our direction. We demand our personhood, and we demand it now. Because if we are too afraid to stand for our rights, If we turn on our backs on these atrocities because we are terrified that if we speak up, they will kill us too and blame it on our pitiful suffering, this will keep happening. It already has. They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill me. And I'm scared. Thank you. That was the end of the poem or article. Not as uplifting, but it very much encapsulates my frustration and sort of the hopelessness you feel when you hear people arguing in favor of your life not mattering. And again, I'm lucky, we're all lucky that we have the ability to speak verbally the way we do, but if that was not the case, if that was the only thing changed about me, I would still be me and I would still want to be here. So,
Thank you for sharing that, McCartney. It reminds me of my family member. She's nonverbal, and she's 57, and I think she lives a great life. I think she's really happy. There are times when and as with everybody's day, it gets challenging and she gets frustrated. But I think she believes she's living a great life. I think she feels that. So thank you for sharing that.
it means a lot to me to have you here as, you are her caregiver, and I know your family has done a lot of trailblazing to make sure that she isn't institutionalized and that she has the freedom that she deserves. So, hearing someone, there was another article about it was written by a father of a disabled child, and he was saying, essentially saying, why are you calling Robert Latimer a hero? We, the real fathers, the real family members that should be held up, and we don't need praise, but we love our family and we want to be family members to them and take care of them and give them the best life possible because they're our family and we love them. So hearing other people come out and say, you know, my family member is nonverbal and they live a great life and I enjoy having them around is very powerful on this day because it goes against everything that this is that believes.
I had an opportunity to speak with a mother and daughter last week, and she put in a quote in an excerpt that she wanted to read during the broadcast. And I can't remember the exact quote. It's from the Bible, but it was basically when you get to heaven and you want to get in, Jesus will say something like, well, you didn't recognize me, when I was presented as like right in front of you of having challenges. You didn't help me when you had the opportunity that I could be, your aunt, and I could be nonverbal. And how did you interact with me and, help me along in those challenges? You didn't notice me then, so I don't notice you now, type of thing. And so that was a really powerful thing that mom brought up. That really hit home.
Yeah.
That is very true. I mean, you never know the potential someone has until you try and help them recognize it. And you never know, how much that person loves you and how much they wish they could tell you that. So it's, assume competence, assume the best of people. It's, cherish everyone in your life because they all mean something. Thank you
Uh,
for sharing such a
yeah,
personal story.
I think it's my turn to read, and I was unfamiliar with this reading in this incident, um, and I'm not exactly sure where it took place, but I'll go ahead. This is a letter to a baby who was thrown from a bridge by Astra Milberg, and there's a picture of a very long bridge, very tall, and the photo above was shot by a surveillance camera only moments after the baby fell or was thrown from, from the bridge. The red square indicates the position of the child's mother and young brother. There are tourists end to end on a suspension bridge over the deep canyon. One cannot conclude from the photo of what actually happened. It is at too great a distance. So this incident, this child either was thrown off the bridge or fell off the bridge. And I'll go ahead and read there. Dear baby Kaya, When I read about your fall in the newspaper, my heart hurt. I know that the police are still trying to find out if your mother dropped you or if you were tossed over the guardrail. But in many ways, it doesn't matter. The fact is, as soon as people knew you had Down syndrome, that changed the story. Now, there was a reason for you to be thrown away. You are a baby who doesn't really matter. There are two things you need to learn. First, you come from a group of people who have a history of being thrown away. You have been thrown out of families into institutions. You have been thrown out of schools into special classes. You have been thrown out of lives of employment into lives of poverty. And people like you and me, doctors don't really want us to be here in the first place. But we, people with disabilities, are glad you are here and welcome you to the fight. And I, a woman with Down syndrome, want to be the first to give you the second bit of news. Yes, you come from people who have a history of being thrown away, but you also come from a group of people who have learned how to survive. I am a self-advocate. That means that I have learned to speak up for myself and speak out against injustice. I take this seriously. There are some things that I learned that I want to pass along to you, things that I wish someone had told me when I was a little girl. So, from me to you, be proud of who you are. Having Down syndrome is kind of cool. I think we have beautiful eyes. Everyone tells me that we have the greatest smiles, and I think they're right. Being proud will help you in so many ways. It will ensure that you land softly every time someone treats you badly or calls you a name. You will hear them all: retard, reject, dummy. I've heard them, and I really don't care what people who use those words think. They may think I'm retarded, but I know they are prejudiced. Don't listen to people who say you can't do things. All sorts of people told me that I couldn't learn. Guess what? I went to college right along with typical students, and I passed the same courses they did. Oh, and I had to sit up real late at night and study. I knew it was harder for me to learn, but I did it. I can read, I can write, I can think, I can speak. There are more things that I can do than things I can't. Just remember, don't give up on yourself because someone says you can't do something. Try it. You may surprise yourself. I really hope this was all an accident and you will know a mother's love like I have. But if not, there are lots of places where you can find love and acceptance. Find people who love you for who you are. Spend time with people who like you because of who you are. You will get tired from always having to teach people that you are a real person like everyone else. So find other people you can just have fun with. I go to people first in other places where there are other people who have disabilities. You wouldn't believe the fun we have and things we get up to. In my groups, I've met other people with disabilities who are married, who have full-time jobs, who own their own homes, who decide their own fates. It's just fun to be a part of the group. It's a relief from being special. Discover. Life is fun and full of surprises. You know, I never kissed a guy until I was 20, but I discovered I liked it. Life is full of great things, like first kisses, chocolate. Every day I sit down and enjoy strong coffee, real strong coffee, with milk and sugar. When I treat myself, I eat seedless grapes, cold and green. You too have lots to look forward to. I remember my first crush, an older man. I remember playing races with my parents. I remember swings and slides and skipping and jumping. I remember playing with a puppy and rubbing his belly. Enjoy it all. Life is full of trials, but it's also full of excitement and fun, and green grapes and chocolate. I read in the paper, that part still surprises people, that you are a miracle baby, that maybe God caught you and carried you safely down from that bridge to earth. I believe, Kaya, that God gave me an extra chromosome. It's an odd gift, but it's a gift. I believe that God does love you, and I hope you realize, so do I. Welcome, dear baby, welcome. So that was, I didn't know anything about that incident ahead of time. And that mother, that baby had Down syndrome, and it's still an open case. Did she slip and fall, or did the mother purposely kind of nudge her over the guardrail there? And I wanted to read that from the person that wrote that had Down syndrome, and she was really empathizing with that child. And I thought that, like that was a really cool thing for her to do. And it looks like McCartney's joining us back again here, so we'll give her a second. McCartney, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm so sorry. My computer died spontaneously for unknown reasons.
Technical issues, those pop up all the time.
Am I still visible at all?
Yes, we can see you. The camera is a little down, so maybe we can tilt it up a little bit.
Okay, y'all continue, and I will be working on this. I'm so sorry.
Well, I think the next part is we would like to do some reading of names of individuals who have passed away. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Clifton, if you could go ahead and bring that up. Heather Peterson says that was beautiful and heartbreaking. Thank you, Mrs. Peterson, for being with us here today and being part of the conversation.
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just going to say, McCartney, can you see the screen there?
Yes, I can. Would it be better for me to just turn off my camera for the rest of the broadcast, since we'll be doing this and then showing the resources at the end? So
it's totally up to you.
okay, I may do that. But I just wanted to say, everyone, thank you for being here. I know that this is not easy to confront, but it's important. The more people know that this issue exists, the more it can be taken seriously by media and by courts, and that we can make sure that this isn't deemed acceptable, and that everyone knows that we are happy to be here.
I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that before we do the reading here. Diane Stock says, "Hi, McCartney. I recently read a quote that said, independence does not mean actually performing a task yourself, but being able to control the environment. I immediately thought of you. One day we had a conversation about cooking and talked about reading recipes, supervising the cooking, and testing the finished product. Does that concept have more meaning to you now that you're in college?"
Thank you so much, Diane. I miss you so much too. And I really have learned that you're exactly right. Independence, you're exactly right. Independence for me doesn't mean that I'm by myself necessarily, but it means that I have self-determination. And it's, to a point, it's toxic to hold ourselves to the other standard, because there are some things that disabled people just can't do on our own. But that doesn't mean that we can't be independent in whatever way that we want to be. So, I have my friend is training to be my aide, and soon they'll be living with me. And I feel very independent because I am in control, and I am able to determine who and when and what I want my life to look like. So I think you're exactly right. And we are actually, me and my friends are actually planning to start cooking and baking together. So it's really, the dream has come true. I mean, I'm living exactly how I want to be. So you'll have to come visit me at UAB sometimes, and I'll show you how far I've come.
McCartney, you would just give a background on the names that we're about to present?
So these names are the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. They scour resources around the world to find cases where people with disabilities have been murdered by caregivers, and they haven't been properly sort of acknowledged, that their lives haven't been mourned necessarily by people that should have mourned them. So we essentially take the responsibility of making sure that everyone knows that their lives mattered, and that they are worth remembering, and that what was done to them was unjust and it should never happen again. So these are just the names that they have collected from like 2021, 2022. So These will not all be recent. These are just new ones they've uncovered. Their goal is to make sure everyone who has died in this way is remembered and honored as they should be.
And if you'd like to start us off.
Absolutely. I'm going to read the names and ages. So just to start with that. Esta Milwi, age 52. Alame Waller, age 54. Frederic Ratier, age 3. Gary Henderson, age 35. Shannon Feichny, age 18. Joyce George, age 86. Pamela King, age 67. Irene Ritchie, age 87. Name unknown, age 50s. And that was in March of 2002. Gloria Sam, age 9 months. E.A., age 4. Gracie Sharp, age 20 months. Betsy H., age 51. Stephanie Brummer, age 5. Mary Mount, age 28. Bobby Akia, age 10. Graham Wiley, age 71. Casimira Heiss, age 76. Linda Blau, age 54. Gregory Stewart, age 52. Stephen Chin, age 63. Baden Bond, age 2. Janine Brocky, age 42. Kevin Johnson, age 12. Sean Maloney, age 46. Clarissa Callow, age 17. Clyde Bedford, age 57. Dominique J., age 47. Jude Mira, age 8. Amanda Cork, age 32. Tomislav Svetna, age 74. Sue Ellen Pike, age 62. Alan Heath, age 47. Christine Anthony, age 50. Julie Kuhn, age 75. Carl Jones, age 37. Masanori Honda, age 71. Douglas Streeter, age 69. Victoria Prokopowicz, age 59. Minoru Hyoku, age 75. Sandra Deacon, age 59. Norma Ludlam, age 75. Digby Dodal, age 26. John Stone, age 72. Latinola Espiniza, elder. And that was in October 2016. If we only have one, like the name or the age, I'd like to say at least the year so we get more information about their life. Judson Duncan, age 21. Samantha Link, age 21 as well. Radhamani, age 47. Child D, less than 1 year, July 2017. Summer Peace, age 5 months. Sanaa Iqbal, age 30. Katie Kearns, age 24. No Valencia Hernandez, adult, December 2017. Name unknown, age 14, January 2018. Name unknown, age 11, January 2018. Ron Nevea O'Neill, age 9. Joe Daniels, age 5. Mary Gregory, age 94. Carolyn Campbell, age 52. Janice Garrett, age 73. Mildred Hyde, age 82. Warren Raymond Jr., age 30. Mustafa Metli Oguliari, age 10. George Blair, age 60. Christiane Belzile, age 69.
And I'll go ahead and read the names on page 3. Michelle Bucalo, age 32. Francis King, age 85. Stephen Henriksen, age 63. Ronald Williams, age 49. Harry Jones, age 66. Heidi R., age 49. Lauren Griffiths, age 21. Name unknown, in the 70s, 29. Martina Avia, age 6. Zayden Janeskula, age 2. Bin La, age 28. Noah Tomlin, age 2. Sheila Murray, age 68. Deborah Leach, age 24. Charles Clark, 81. Joyce Goode, age 60. Isaac Goy, 45. Jessica Galtish, age 3. Ram Kokar, age 55. Name unknown, age 8, May of 2020. Uthra, age 25. Arthur Labinho Hughes, age 6. Jack Crowell, age 22. Eileen Myers, age 74. Pauline Brown, age 73. Eduardo Jose, age 17. Emric Osuna, age 9. David Allman, age 14. Timothy Gramlich, age 52. Homer Piat, age 72. Kaylee Branch, age 73. Charles Chandler, age 80. Joseph Hammond, age 50. I'll go ahead and read the names on page 4. Karen Walter Franks, age 50. Larry Hanks, age 42. Miss Q, age 57. Name unknown, age 24, December 2020. Name unknown, age 11, December 2020. Akram Udred Dari, age 26. Ezekiah Pettiford, age 15. Nanako Tokutani, age 10. Jerome Brown, age 11. Helen Miller, age 19. Robin Beaver, age 81. Jasmine Kennedy, age 22. Shavana Fox, age 28. Peter Caucus, age 7. Jamal Anderson Jr., age 5. Naomi Kaneko, age 52. Suresh Mangal, age 85. Name unknown, age 16, March 2021. Dalbert Edwards, age 52. Jax Ponomarenko, 5. Kayla Esteban, age 26. John McCulloch, age 83. Tam, age 85. Melissa Hinton Miller, age 65. Lordy Ramadan, age 48. Name unknown, age 9, April 2021. Darren Henson, age 9. Liam, 7. Brian Cotter, age 15. Raheem Sahik, age 67. Name unknown, age 72, June 2021. Laurie Dethridge, age 48. Janet Katoka, age 78.
All right. I'm reading from page 5. A.N. Shahik, age 8. Galen McCartney, age 15. Sarah McKinney, age 35. Name unknown, age 60s, July 2021. Askashdashi Swain, age 38. Joyce Jeffries, age 84. Prasanna, age 75. Mark Fagan, adult, July 2021. Jasmine Singletary, age 14, July 2021. Prasanna, age 75. Chelsea Hill, age 18. Connor Hill, age 18. Rudansha Shankar, age 6. Devansha Shankar, age 4. Name unknown, age 74, August 2021. Ramon Castellano de Torres, age 73. Louis Lujan, age 63. Mason Weston, age 11. Name unknown, age 78, August 2021. Wayne Leworthy, age 46. Moy Chan, age 74. Maria Huerta, age 74. Bernice Durbin, age 89. Name unknown, age 78, September 2021. Richard B. Wicks Jr., age 30. Kyle Teo, age 10 months, September 2021. Gabby Petito, age 22, September 2021. James Richard Lewis, age 10. Nahar Deal, age 11. Violet Walcott, age 76. Summer Knight Tatum, age 26. Kendrick Lee, age 8. Page 6. Anthony Bronner, age 48. Felicity Kreb, age 13. Barrett Kreb, age 9. Yoshito Ohashi, age 32. Yoshio Ohashi, age 65. Nicole Amari Hale, age 8. Salisu Surakatu, age 94. Kara Broyles, age 27. Uday Sa, age 10. Danya Fields, age 13. Natalie Ryan Fraser, age 55. Ranjiv Kumar, age 48. Paramjit Singh, age 30. Ashton Yap, age 11. And Ethan Yap, age 11.
Thank you for that reading. McCartney, if I could just comment, and we can go back to the gallery view, is in reading those names and hearing those names, they come from a wide background, different ethnicities all around the world, and different ages. So some you will see a couple months, some you will see in the 80s and 90s. So it's really striking me that this isn't, this is happening everywhere in all different types of communities, to all different ages.
Exactly. I know the ASAN, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, works really hard to find every case. And the list of all of the names that they've ever collected, it's so long. It's devastatingly long. Just this seems like a lot. You know, there's a couple hundred, if not more, names on here, and that's just what they were able to uncover during the pandemic, no less. So it's really a pervasive issue, and it's taking more lives than you would ever think possible. And that's why it's so important to make sure that people understand how big of an issue it is, and that it's not okay. You know, there's no mercy in it. It's just taking a life and robbing that person of any opportunity they had to be happy here on Earth. So, yeah.
McCartney, I have a request. Does your camera work now?
I wasn't able to get it adjusted. I can try again, but I had my desk set up where I was using my laptop, and then it just went out on me. So the iPad's kind of precariously angled. If you'd rather me come back, I can, but not much of my face is visible.
Oh, no, that's okay. It just doesn't show you on screen if you don't have your video on, but the audio is fine.
Well, the names, the lists are long, but I kept thinking every one of these folks had something to contribute. All were lives worth living, and it's tragic. And we need to continue to bring awareness to this issue. We need to continue to let people know about the abilities of people with disabilities. Every one of those persons could have contributed something. They could have invented something. They could have done something that nobody else has done that would have benefited everybody. So society has lost out by not every one of those people being deprived of their opportunity at life and their opportunity to bring meaning to themselves and other people. So it's really kind of it's astounding and that this happens, and I think that those of us that are around, we need to get the word out. We need to make people aware. So McCartney, I really appreciate the opportunity today to participate in today's event. I think this is a very worthy event.
Thank you. I'm so, like I said, I'm really honored to have you here and to have this being sort of so much attention being put on this and to have it be taken seriously. Again, I tried this last year and I contacted the press, and I didn't have the contacts I have now, of course, because I was not working for Alabama Care, but none of the press showed up. It was so sad. And it's like, you try so hard because people are dying, and you're right, the world is being deprived of them. They're being deprived and we're being deprived of them. So it's so important, and thank you so much for taking action like this and being here today, because you're adding credibility to this issue. Say, hey, Dr. Sisson cares. He's a lawyer. He's in this position, and he thinks this is important. So maybe we should too. And at the end, we'll go over ways that we can all take action in our personal lives to prevent this. So just having everyone here in the audience and having everyone participate, it means a lot. And we are making a difference just by doing this today. If I'm correct, is the chat, are we caught up?
I think so. And we're just kind of at the closing statements, but did you want to share some resources for the everyday?
Absolutely. So because of the emotional nature of this, we have self-care and next steps. So whichever, I guess we can go over the next steps first and then wrap up with self-care. So this is to take action to prevent filicide and honor victims. And these are different ways we can do that. So the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network provides an anti-filicide toolkit. It's required for organizers to read it. So I've been through it, and it provides advocates and allies, so whether you have a disability or not, with tools and resources to use in your community. So including response to local incidents. So if you find out that someone in your town or in your city has had this happen to them, and then you can find out how to reach out to the media and how to make sure that this event is taken seriously and people will remember it. Also, how to understand and respond to it. So to understand the issues behind it, and also frequently asked questions, and a guidebook for site coordinators. So if anyone here would like to hold their own vigil next year, the closest one ever has been in Atlanta. So we would love for more people in the South to take action here. So a lot of these incidents do happen in rural areas. So it's very important that this is a national issue and that everyone has access to knowledge about it. You can also connect with the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. Again, you can participate in their website, their newsletter. I get a lot of important information from them and also ideas for broadcasts. So if they're talking about something and I'm in the right time and place, I can submit it to Alex and I can educate all of y'all about it. And education is power. You can also educate yourself and others about abuse, domestic violence, hate crimes, and bias against people with disabilities. So all of those factors together culminate in what we're dealing with here today about, people, their lives being taken because of this. So they have a list of resources. They have an autism and safety toolkit. And while we're on the topic, one thing I'd like to acknowledge is that people with developmental disabilities or like autism, and I know like psychological disabilities like schizophrenia, they are especially victims of this kind of thing because there's a lot of fear surrounding that specific diagnosis. There's a lot of not just the ableism of, oh, they're a burden, but also we're taught unjustly to fear people that behave differently and process the world differently. So making sure that you're educated on how not to trigger someone with autism, or how not to be afraid and how to see them as a person, because unfortunately we are not taught in our society to think that way. That's really great. So if you'll look up the ASA and Autism and Safety Toolkit, I think that would make a huge difference for you and encourage your friends and family. Also, challenge ableism. anti-disability bias and prejudice everywhere you see it. Challenge the idea that it's better to be dead than disabled, that disabled people are a drain on society, that disability means suffering, and that disabled lives are not worth living. Promote inclusion, community integration, and acceptance. Also, lobby your state legislator to include disability in your state's hate crime statute. This is something I need to do research on, and Dr. Sisson, you may know, is this the case in Alabama? Do we have this?
I think we do. They are working on a hate crime statute, and I know that we tried to include disability. I'm not sure it was. That's something maybe I could look into and see if we have hate crimes. I know they did work, that was worked on. I'm not sure of the status of it, so I can check into it.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. Yes, this kind of thing. If we have hate crimes statutes for it, then that means that these crimes can actually be prosecuted and addressed in that direction. And if anyone has questions in the comments on how to participate and how to contribute to this issue, whether you live in Alabama or not, please feel free to let us know. We'll provide whatever resources you need.
And also, Clifton, would you mind sharing this document in the chat as well so people can go back to it? I think would be good. You don't have to do it now, but after. I appreciate it. Go ahead, McCartney.
Okay. Yes, I think that's a great idea, Alex. But lastly, I'm going to wrap up with self-care. So I know I will be using this later. I sound rather upbeat on camera, but it's, this is not easy to talk about, especially, all of us here, either we have disabilities or our very close friends and family do as well. So this is the idea that people aren't valuing their lives is not easy to process, and it isn't easy to confront for anyone. So this can stir strong emotions, and you might not know how to react or what to do afterwards. So here's some things you can do to help process what you're feeling. Remember that your feelings are valid, whatever they are. People experience events in different ways. Just because your experience is different than the person next to you, it doesn't mean either of you is wrong, reacting too much or reacting too little. Listen to your body. If you need to cry, then cry. If you need to talk to someone, seek someone out who will listen. If you need to go somewhere and be alone for a while, do that. Give yourself a break. Vigils can be incredibly emotionally draining, and it's okay if you can't do things at full capacity for a while afterwards. And take time for self-care. This is a quote from Audre Lorde. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. And I think that's very true, especially if you have a disability. So, but what is self-care? It's any intentional actions you take to care for your physical, mental, and emotional health. Self-care looks different for everybody, and there's several examples here of things that are enjoyable, relaxing, and can help you center yourself after dealing with something like this. So creating art, sensory and self-regulatory activities, wearing an outfit that makes you feel good, decluttering your room, turning off your phone for a day, swinging on a swing set, or reading your favorite book. Alex, do you have any that you particularly like? I don't know if we should go through all of them, but if there's any you'd like to spotlight here.
Yeah, watching a hockey game. I really enjoy that.
That sounds wonderful. I'm sad I missed our company trip. Dr. Sisson, any suggestions on how you handle
watching
self-care?
and movies, and reading your favorite book. Those are all things I do. Getting a massage. I do that also.
Yeah, you can go and watch some highlights from an Alabama game. Some school spirit. But my mother is actually a massage therapist, so I definitely get behind that one. It's great for disabilities and chronic pain. So going for a walk is also a great one. I get so much energy from that. It restores me a lot. So I encourage you all to take care of yourself, take it easy. Advocacy is not easy. Thinking about advocacy and thinking about injustice is not easy. So it's important to remember that you need to keep yourself going so you can continue to do what you feel you need to do for you and for others around you that are in this position. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Does anyone have any final words before we wrap up?
Well, I want to say thank you for the opportunity again, McCartney, and to everybody out there. Stay alive, make a difference, fight for your rights, know your rights, and keep on trucking. That's all I always say. Like one of my favorite 70s sayings, keep on trucking. There used to be a graphic of that. It was a guy and had a big foot in front of him, and he had one foot on the ground, the other foot was raised ahead, and his big old shoe, you could see the bottom of the shoe, and the logo was keep on trucking. So look it up.
Ooh, I have homework.
I'd also like to thank you, McCartney, for bringing this to light and inviting me to be a part of it. Yeah, I'm just really excited in who you are and who you're becoming as a young adult. We are ecstatic to have you on the Alabama Care team. We think that, you give a lot to the community, and we're just happy to be a part of that. I think, if you're struggling, I think reach out to community members, get involved, and take that first step is a big process there. So thank you once again.
Thank you both so much. You inflate my ego far too much. As you just said, I'm really doing what I need to do because I was depressed. I was unhappy before I started getting more involved, knowing about this kind of thing. My mother has actually expressed concern about my mental health. She's like, are you sure that this is the career you want to go into? Are you sure you want to talk about hate crimes all day and, fight for all this stuff? And I'm like, yes, because it restores me. Because I would have known anyway. When you are a person in a marginalized community, you feel it around you that you're not being taken seriously or you're not being seen as a person sometimes. And it's isolating feeling. It feels lonely. It feels like maybe you aren't worth it. But getting involved with other people with disabilities and being involved with Alabama Care and advocacy and doing what I'm doing right now, making sure that people know how much my community means to me and how much that we want to be here. It makes me feel better, actually. It's better to fight than to just be resigned to being miserable and to be resigned to knowing that your friends aren't going to get what they deserve and you're not going to get what you deserve and you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. And it's draining to fight tooth and nail for that every day, but it's worth it. It's better, for me at least. Not everyone has the energy to fight, but everyone should at least try.
Very well said, McCartney.
Yeah, very well said.
Thank you both. So I guess if we are caught up on the chat and everyone is ready, we can wrap up our event for the day.
Yep, we are caught up on chat. I'd just like to say thank you, Dr. Sisson, for being here as well. Really appreciate your time and your perspective and your input and everything that you do in the community. So always good to see you, sir. You
too. Very good to see y'all, and thanks again for the opportunity.
All right, and McCartney, we'll go ahead and take us out. We'll say see you guys on Thursday. And click